Our trading symbol on NASDAQ is SOLO, S-O-L-O, which is also the name of our flagship product. Our next slide is the forward-looking statements, which we have to put in there. And here we are. So for those of you who don't know who we are yet, we are a company that designs and manufactures sports cars, and we have since 1959, a 60-year history. Our flagship vehicle is the Solo, and we've been operating since 2015 in the electric vehicle space, and our mandate is to close the last gas station by delivering cost-effective, beautiful, and fun electric vehicles. Our shares outstanding, 32.3 million. Our market cap at this point in time has changed a bit. We're at about 63.4 million market cap as we are today. So next slide. This gives a reason as to why Electra Meccanica has moved into the EV market. It is absolutely huge. There's about 840,000 EVs on the market and rising drastically. California continues to play an outsized role in the adoption, very similar to Norway in Europe. And the whole idea of moving industry and people away from fossil fuels on the road, which is the primary distribution of carbon, is why people are wanting electric cars. The other thing that has come into play is electric cars have proven to just be better performance, better acceleration, easier to use. And the cost of the batteries in the car, which is the wonderful thing, has actually been dropping 10 to 15% per year over the past 10 years, and that really provides a good basis for electric vehicles to take over from internal combustion cars. It's a big market. Next slide shows a little bit of who Electra Meccanica is, and our acquisition of Meccanica last year as the base for our company. For those of you who have seen the Top Gun movie, it's a wonderful touchstone because I find as I travel around the world, anywhere in the world, everybody has seen that movie. The beautiful convertible car that Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise drive in that movie is actually an Meccanica car, and we have thousands of them on the road, beautiful, and we are now using those as fully electric as the prototype of the Tofino car, which will be a two-seater electric car. We'll get to that much later. Beautiful cars. The other one that I like to say is Alex Trebek, who bought one of the cars, like the blue one in the bottom right-hand corner. Purchased one of those in the 1970s for about $11,000. And if you look it up online, just recently auctioned it off for over $180,000. So we have a history of building vehicles that last. Our flagship vehicle, the Solo, I'm incredibly proud of it. It is a forward-thinking car. 83% of people on the road these days drive by themselves in a 5-person gasoline vehicle, which is as ridiculous as seeing somebody carrying along a desktop computer on the sidewalk so they can check their email. If you're driving by yourself, which you're doing most of the time, the Solo is a vehicle for you. 100% clean energy, fully electric, 85-mile-an-hour top speed, highway capable, 0 to 60 in 8 seconds, 100-mile range, and if you use up all the batteries and you plug it into a regular car charger, 3 hours to be fully charged. The value proposition is $15,500. Power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, all the niceties that you would expect. It's a premium experience and a very fun and, quite frankly, a sexy-looking package. The second vehicle, which I alluded to earlier, is on our engineering board right now. We're expecting to have the first deliveries happening next year at the Tofino. And this is a carry-on of our legacy product of building two-seater convertibles, but in electric. And we have a shocking number of orders of these cars as well, too. So the Tofino, top speed of around 120 miles per hour, a range of 250 miles, priced properly, $50,000 US. This isn't a $1 million supercar. This is a fun car and all electric, along the same lines as you'd imagine of a Miata, but sexier looking and all electric. We're really proud of this, and it's one of the hallmarks of our company over the past 60 years. This is how the Solo, our flagship product, stacks up against other vehicles that you could think would be in the market, even though it is quite a unique product. $15,500, it's almost half the price of the next car, which would be the Smart Electric at $28,700. And all these other vehicles, great cars, Tesla, Volt, Leaf, all electric, but truly cost effective. The mileage that you get in it addresses the 83% of people who are commuting by themselves. The furthest that group of people drives is 20 miles in either direction, so you have quite a bit of room outside of that maximum mileage. And our pre-order book backs that up. For the Solo, we have over 23,000 orders and rising pretty much every day. Primarily orders coming from the state of California. We'll get to that in a slide coming up. But we do have orders around the world, United Kingdom, the rest of Europe, Asia, Australia. It really is a world car. And because it's a one-seater and you have the steering wheel right in the middle, you can literally sell the same exact car in Indianapolis and in Tokyo without moving the steering wheel. It is, in my mind, it's the only and the first of its kind, a true world car. The Tofino, because it's one of our heritage products, we have 41,000 plus booked orders for that car coming up. So that's why that's something that we're going to be addressing really quickly in the coming years. We're charged and ready to roll. Next week, I'll be traveling to China, where we have our big factory set up with our manufacturing partner, Zhongshan. That'll be capable of producing up to 1,600 vehicles per month. 2019 will be spent scaling up to that number, so we should have about 5,000 vehicles delivered this year, looking at 20,000 in 2020, and then doubling that up as we can as we get orders going forward. We're fully certified in the state of California, and cars have been delivered to customers, pre-production cars, from our facility in New Westminster. And some of our customers have had them for over 2 years and over 17,000 kilometers, and are very, very pleased with the product and how it performs on the road. Our main distribution facility is located in Studio City, Los Angeles, and the reason for that is because California is, in fact, the ideal target market. 3 main reasons. First of all, it's the center of car culture pretty much for the world. People go there to see beautiful cars, and that's where most of the cars are introduced. Secondly, it's very aware of environmental challenges, very good crowd for that. And third, it's an investment hub, again, for the world. Everybody travels through that. So that is why we have our pretty much 1-acre distribution facility down there that's been operating since October, and vehicles are being delivered right now. If you're ever in the Studio City area, drop on by and say hi to Anthony, Sean, David, and the gang, and go on a solo experience past Universal Studios. You'll love it. And here's a photo of the shop that we have down there. The sale and service model that we're doing, opening up our own shops that have delivery and service. Not a lot of service required on an electric car, but people still want to see that. So we have that set up. We also have people who've been inquiring about opening dealerships for us. So as we expand beyond the 20,000 vehicles per year, there is a way of doing that. And the third way of distribution is through third-party groups. Perhaps companies like Costco or Best Buy who may be interested in carrying a vehicle that is all electric, there's no gas involved. Those are the 3 ways that we have on our business plan of expanding out over our 20,000 to 50,000 a year mark. Contract manufacturing. We don't build our own factories. We follow along with the Apple method of engineering and building out our product. Our research and development, technology development center here in Vancouver, Canada is where we develop all of our products. And then we contract manufacture. Zhongshan is a premier manufacturer of motorcycles and three-wheel vehicles. We're very proud of them. I'll be heading over there next week with the oversized scissors and the red ribbon to officially open up the assembly line that you see here. Currently, we're already producing 4 vehicles per day, and that'll go up drastically as the year moves forward. Scalability, up to 75,000 vehicles contracted for this 3 years. Depending on how our vehicles are received, I expect to see a huge bump up in our order book from the 23,000 we currently have. And with that, we're able to scale up cost effectively and quickly at our facility in China and other potential facilities we have that we're looking at around the world, in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, in Mexico, in India. This truly is a world car that can be built and delivered pretty much anywhere. Our intellectual property portfolio is something I get asked quite a bit. In these early days of electric vehicles, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit with technology. Things like battery cartridges, swing arms, even the chassis that we have fully patented for our vehicle is a revolutionary type of product. So we have literally dozens of patents in the pipeline being filed. Alongside of us, working with our top-tier partners, Ricardo, Bosch, LG Chem, Siemens. These are all top leading companies in electric vehicle innovation that are providing us not just product, but also their talent in making the Solo and the Tofino everything that they can be. Here's our executive team, myself, founder and CEO, Henry, also co-founder and president. He is the family with Electra Meccanica that's been at this for 60 years. You can't just build a car without the kind of experience that comes from the Reisner family, and that's been proven out over decades. Isaac Moss, our Chief Administration Officer, Val Bular, our Chief Financial Officer, and Ed Theobald, the General Manager who makes all the cars happen. Very important to have that, and Ed represents a team of not just the 63 people we have here in Canada in our Technology Development Center, but the hundreds and thousands of them around the world that are producing the Solo. Investment highlights for our company. We have really been kind of a stealth company in producing our cars. We haven't displayed at the Detroit Auto Show or Frankfurt or Paris or Tokyo. We're doing something a little different. We're actually delivering the vehicles to customers and having them out there. There are huge economic tailwinds with governments and businesses supporting electric vehicles. We have a gross margin of our car of 25% for the Solo and targeting that on the Tofino as well too. And the pre-order book speaks for itself. Our contract manufacturing partner is top-notch. Vehicles have been produced. They're being delivered, and you will be able to see those if you go to our facility in Studio City and go on a test drive and see them there. There's a lot of reasons to like what we're doing. And as we get more notoriety through coverage on from groups like Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, and just having the vehicles on the road, I think you're going to see the awareness really take this company to different levels. In our appendix, what we have is Board of Directors, myself and Henry on the Board of Directors, Stephen Sanders, Senator Jack Austin, Louise Gargiola, Dr. Rob Tarswell, and Sean Graffard. We've been together as a team for many years now. Lots of experience there in both automotive, international relations, and quite frankly, corporate governance. So that's really a great team. I'm proud to be a part of them. So moving forward with our vehicle, it was important for us to make sure that what we saw with the requirements for people with a one-person electric car was actually the fact. So we surveyed 2 groups of people. We have the reservation holders, the 23,000 plus people who did put in orders for the Solo. What were they thinking? Why did they put the refundable $250 down, which anybody listening to this call can do by going to emvauto.com. Pick your color. There's 4 colors to choose from. You put your $250 down. You're in line. Hopefully, you get your car within the next year or 2. We did a survey of those people. Who are they? And then the other group was prospects, people who hadn't heard of our car yet, which is the majority of people. Here's the car. What do you like about this, and what would make you buy it? So the interesting thing about that is the people who did put in the reservation for the car and are waiting for the cars to come in, they're looking for something that's fun, economical, distinctive, and a little bit techy. At this point in time, early adopters are primarily 96% male, medium age is 56, medium income 114,000. That's pretty standard for what we call hand raisers or early adopters. Let's give you a bit of an idea here in this next slide of what they're looking for. Number 1, fun. And if there's one word that describes Electra Meccanica and the Intermeccanica history of 60 years, it would be fun. That's really what our cars are all about. 91%, that's what is speaking to our customers. 88%, really close behind, environmentally friendly. And as I said, our company's mission is to close the last gas station with cost-effective innovation, clean tech. That's what we're all about, and that's what our customers respond to. Then get to new technology, reducing traffic congestion, which is 53% on the far right. That is something that is of great interest to governments, because there's only so many cars you can fit on the road, and if everybody's driving a 5-person car, you're going to get in trouble, not just for traffic, but for parking. And that, for myself, as we move forward, is really what the Solo addresses, and what's going to make it probably the most disruptive vehicle since the Ford Model T. So the next slide is with the people who we've introduced the Solo to, who haven't yet put in a deposit, in fact haven't even heard about it. What would make them consider purchasing a Solo? And again, if you get right to the bottom of it, you're looking at attractive price and fun to drive. That's really the primary reason people are looking for. Reducing traffic congestion. People understand what the Solo is meant for. And as you drive it, I always like to say, once you've driven the Solo for a week, you're probably not going to give it back to me. You're going to keep it and say, Jerry, just send me the bill. This thing is so fun to drive. Imagine it's like an iPhone for the road. You don't know you need one until you use one. Once you've used it, smartphones have really become most people's primary computer, more so than a desktop or a laptop. Once you drive the Solo, realize you can go to any downtown environment and find a parking spot 100 times more easily than you can with a standard size car. You're hooked on it. And that's really what people see right off the bat by looking at the Solo. Growth trends. Consumers understand the problem with global climate destruction. It is boiling hot in Australia over the winter now. It is freezing cold in North America through climate disruption of weather patterns. Everybody understands that. We're having some of the hottest summers each year as we go forward. And that's really what's driving that. Government mandates for future EV utilization. And then the trendsetters of that are in California. Again, it's the perfect initial market for us to move forward to before we expand up to places like Oregon, Washington State, and head eastward in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Asia. Here's some interesting things I often get called about beyond the Solo and the Tofino. What are some of the potential candidates that we would have in the pipeline? The three main targets that we have for the Solo are, as I've said, 83% of commuters. That's 140 million people in the United States alone using it as a commuter vehicle. The second big market is cargo, last mile delivery. We've already been in tests with 7-Eleven, DHL, couriers, other groups like that for using it as a last mile delivery vehicle. Perfect. Doesn't use any fuel, and it fits in parking spots anywhere for making that delivery. A cargo version would entail a slightly enhanced rear hatch, as you can see on the photo on to the left. That is a vehicle that we have on the drawing board that we can do relatively easily. Sometimes we get requests for a tandem with a smaller seat in the back, like a 1+1 configuration. So it's possible for us at some point to develop a Solo twin. As you see, slightly elongated. Wouldn't fit in parking spots quite as easily as the Solo, but it's definitely a potential market for us. And the third one that we have on the far right is more of a halo vehicle, a chance for our excited engineers to stretch their legs by producing a vehicle that can go 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. All-wheel drive, single-person hypercar. And believe it or not, we've already got quite a few orders for those vehicles, but that's something that we'll begin working on when we have the bandwidth, when we have several hundred of our cars on the roads in the hands of customers in Los Angeles. The final slide we have here, and this is one of the pages on our emvauto.com website, and it describes the value proposition for people who are thinking of purchasing the Solo. It's the standard gas versus electric thing, where you can see how much you spend per year on your vehicle, depending on your range, price per liter, or price per gallon of gasoline, and then seeing with your Solo what you could spend on electricity if you pay for it yourself at 10 or 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and what your annual savings are. The real key here for the Solo is the value proposition to the masses. The lowest cost electric vehicle you can get. It's a great second vehicle, much like the Volkswagen Beetle was a great second vehicle for America when it came out in the late 50s and early 60s, surprising everybody by not just how effective it was in providing value to families, but also how fun it was and how it would last for years and years. And that's exactly what the Solo is, the same value proposition, but for the 21st century. So that pretty much is the presentation that we have, the update that we have. So I'll ask the operator to turn things over to questions that we have from the audience.
Thank you. If you'd like to ask a question, please signal by pressing *1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure the mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, press *1 to ask a question. We'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone an opportunity to signal for questions. We'll take our first question from William Elliott with Center Street Securities. Please go ahead.
Yes, my question is, in the presentation, it seems as though you're talking about cars in the number of thousands, like 20,000 or 50,000 over quite a few years. Why can't this be ramped up by factories to, say, 400,000 a year or something, the way all other automobile manufacturers do?
Thanks, William. That is a good question, and that is really the essence of what we've been doing. Our company has engineered the Solo to be able to be built in mass production. Delivering the first 5,000, 20,000, 75,000 cars is an important first step. My belief is that when we have the first 400 or 500 cars on the road in Los Angeles, and that's why we're doing it in California, the awareness of the company and the awareness of the product will drive us north of the 6-digit pre-orders, and at that point in time, we can engage quickly with our platform in getting expansion into the hundreds of thousands of vehicles per year. It's very easy to do, and it's something that would be too forward-looking to mention at this point in time, but it's definitely something that's on deck, and it can be done. Plus, I also anticipate a lot of emulation from other electric car companies once they see how useful and how effective the Solo and this type of vehicle is. Much the same way that when Research in Motion came out with the BlackBerry smartphone, almost every other electronic company emulated that and has it out there. It's going to be one of the biggest categories in urban transportation, and I do believe that we'll be in the hundreds of thousands sooner than we're depicting in the slide presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It appears there are no further questions at this time. Management, I'd like to turn the conference back to you for any additional or closing remarks.
Great, thanks very much. We're entering into probably the most exciting year that we will ever have in 2019 with the deployment of our vehicles. Our facility for distribution is open and running smoothly. We'll be having an announcement and photographs next week from our facility manufacturing the cars as they're coming over. Keys are continuing to be handed over to customers and customer reports on our website, emvauto.com. I look forward to speaking to everybody again at our next virtual roadshow and covering the progress between now and then. Thank you very much from Vancouver, Canada. My name is Jerry Kroll, CEO of Electra Meccanica, and we'll see you out on the road.